So today what we are going to do is learn about just the introduction to molecular biology. What is DNA, what is RNA, and DNA organization. The DNA organization tells us how big DNA. DNA is a very big, thin thread-like molecule, which is very long. So how that long molecule is so compactly adjusted into the nucleus of the cell, how that compaction process is taking place. So that is DNA organization, which we will do tomorrow. Today I will be talking about mainly DNA and RNA, the nucleic acids. I think I'll start now. So first we are going to see the nucleic acids and the DNA in particular. They are the key macromolecules for continuity of life. Till now, you have seen certain macromolecules and micromolecules of the cell, and DNA, it's considered as a macromolecule which is essential for the continuity of life. It bears the hereditary information that is passed from parent to the children, and it gives the instructions to the cells as to how and when more proteins will be needed for the growth of the cell and the body and the tissues and organisms. So how the cell is going to grow, that is instructed by the DNA, and DNA is passed on to each cell when the from the parent cell to the offspring. Nucleic acids, they comprise of the genetic material of the cell, and the nucleic acids, they constitute DNA and RNA, which work in coordination to keep the cell working. DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid and RNA stands for ribonucleic acid. So the main difference between DNA and RNA is that it has a ribose sugar which is deoxy, DNA, and the RNA has a ribose sugar which is not deoxidized, it is ribose sugar. So the nucleotide you have seen the nucleotides. Nucleotides are purines and pyrimidines. Nucleotide has three characteristic components. It has a nitrogen base, as you can see. This is the purine or the pyrimidine, which is the nitrogen base. It has a pentose sugar. This is the pentose sugar. And it has a one or more phosphate. So pentose sugar along with phosphate forms the pentose sugar with the base forms the nucleoside, and when it is attached with the phosphate, it becomes a nucleotide. Till this you have already discussed. And how is the nucleotide bonding take place? The base of nucleotide is joined covalently to the 1' carbon. When we say prime, that means it is the carbon of the sugar we are talking about. And when we only say C, that means we are talking about the carbon of the base. Okay? So 1' carbon, 1' carbon of pentose sugar binds to the base via beta and beta glycosyl bond, and this bonding takes place with, in case of pyrimidines, it is the first nitrogen, and in case of purines, it is the 9th nitrogen. Okay? So this nitrogen bonds with 1' carbon of the pentose sugar, and the phosphates, they join on the 5' carbon of the pentose sugar by an ester bond. So this is how a structure called nucleotide is formed. And in DNA, this is a monomer of the DNA or RNA, and multiple number of these nucleotides, they are joined to each other in linear polymer kind of chain, and then they form DNA or RNA. Nucleic acids are polymerized to form nucleic acids. So just to summarize again, in this figure, you can see there are cytosine, thymine, and uracil. These are the pyrimidines, and purines are adenine and guanine. Purines, the name is smaller, lekin the structure is bigger. This is how we remember. And pyrimidines is a longer name, but the structure is smaller. And in this, you can see this is the sugar, which is attached to the base as well as to the phosphate on 1' carbon and C5' carbon. And then you can see that this is 1, 2, and this is 3. So 3' hydroxyl group is free. And this is the group along with 5'. 3' is going to form a further phosphodiester bonds with the help of 5' phosphate, which is attached to the 5' carbon. ठीक है, so ये आगे अभी structure में आएगा, which I'll tell you in detail. Again, to summarize this structure, this is the basic structure which I have already told you. This is the base, this is the sugar, and this is the phosphate, and this is how they are attached to each other, leaving C3 group का hydroxyl is free. ठीक है? And this base can be A, G, CT, purine, or pyrimidine, whatever. Now we come to the nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are the macromolecules of the nucleotides. I have already told you. ठीक है? इसके अंदर you can see this is the RNA, which is a single strand molecule, and this is the DNA, which is a double stranded molecule. Similar molecule जो RNA का एक molecule है, वो DNA में double strand हो जाता है. आपस में they are joined together to form a double stranded molecule. So structure is similar, but only the number of strands are different in DNA and RNA. Also, there are many other differences which I will be discussing later. There are two naturally occurring nucleic acids, DNA and RNA. Polymers of nucleotides are the nucleic acids. DNA contains adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine, whereas RNA contains adenine, uracil, guanine, and cytosine. So the main difference in the structure of the bases which are present in DNA and RNA is DNA has thymine and RNA has uracil. Why is this so? This also I will tell you later. So in eukaryotes, such as plants and animals, the DNA is found in the nucleus, whereas a nucleus, and also in mitochondria or chloroplast of these plants, and it is broken up into a number of very long linear pieces called chromosomes. So जैसे human body has 23 pairs of chromosomes which has DNA, so each chromosome has one DNA molecule. In prokaryotes such as bacteria, the DNA is not enclosed in a membranous envelope, though it is located in specialized region called as nucleoid. It is not proper nucleus. That nucleoid thing is not covered with a nuclear membrane, but it is all the material which is present in the nucleus in eukaryotes is also present in the nucleoid. Only difference is that it is not covered with the nuclear membrane. So, and the chromosomes in prokaryotes are smaller and often circular. Okay? The eukaryotic chromosomes are linear. Chromosomes may contain tens of thousands of genes, each providing instructions to how particular product is needed by the cell. Genes we will be discussing after a few slides. So before I go further, I just want to introduce another term, central dogma of molecular biology. Why we are doing all this? मैं DNA क्यों पढ़ा रही हूँ, आगे RNA क्यों पढ़ाऊंगी, आपको ये सब क्यों पढ़ना है? Because the basic foundation of the cell and its growth is on the central dogma of. Central dogma means that the flow of information is from DNA to RNA to make a functional protein. Whatever food we are eating, या हम कोई काम कर रहे हैं या बात कर रहे हैं, whatever we are doing, we need enzymes to metabolize them. We need hormones for the body functioning. So all these are proteins. So all these proteins, they are muscular proteins, skeletal proteins. There are, you know about proteins, n number of proteins at the cellular level we need. From where are these proteins coming? How does the cell get this information कि आपको कौन सा protein किस समय जरूरत है, कौन से enzyme किस समय जरूरत है, कौन से hormone किस समय जरूरत है? That information goes from DNA, and DNA that passes that information to RNA. RNA एक specific protein का specific RNA बनेगा, and then that RNA will form that particular protein. So this is the central dogma, which means the flow of information from DNA to RNA to protein. Details of all these processes you will be studying in the further classes of molecular biology. So the basic information pathway that the DNA directs the synthesis of RNA, which in turn directs and regulates the protein synthesis, is main thing called central dogma. And DNA is regarded as the master regulator and the carrier of information required to synthesize cellular proteins via the ribose machinery. Okay? Now, from the past many years, DNA के ऊपर काम हो रहा था और धीरे धीरे आज तो DNA की सारी sequence ही it has been deciphered, it has been taken out. Human genome की पूरी sequence of DNA we know. How many base pairs are there? How many nucleotides are there? What is the exact structure of each and every gene we know? ठीक है? But initially, when the scientists were not aware that DNA is the main thing which is carrying the information from the parent to the offspring, that the DNA is the one which has the hereditary material. So the demonstration that DNA contained the genetic information was first made in 1944 in a series of experiments by Avery, McLeod, and McCarthy. And a lot of work has been done on it since 1800s. And genetic information of the character of the capsule of इनका experiment जो था, that I will tell you in detail, and they showed that the thing which is carrying over from parent to offspring is called, they called it as a transforming factor. And you can see that right from the beginning, Mendel के time से, which we used to study in the school, Gregor Mendel, he found out that he first gave this concept that the information is given from parent to the offspring, and he found that the traits like flower colors in the pea plants is not directly inherited, but it is specified by certain genes which are passed from the parent to the offspring. Okay? And then in 33, Hunt Morgan, he saw that Mendel's heritable factors were most likely carried on the chromosomes. He gave this information. Then he got Nobel Prize on this in 1933. Then Griffith was another scientist who gave this idea of transforming principle, although he did a lot of good work, but he did not get Nobel Prize. And on his, Avery, McCarthy, and McLeod, they further proved his findings, and they, I think, got a Nobel Prize. Okay? And Griffith gave the concept of transforming principle, and Avery, McCarthy, they showed that the transforming principle was DNA, and protein could not be the transforming factor. Then Hershey and Chase got Nobel Prize in 1946, and they proved that DNA enters the host before the infection, not the protein. Chargaff gave the base pairing rule in 1950, and then based on that, 1953 में Watson and Crick, they deduced a double helical structure of DNA. 50s तक आते आते DNA had been established that there is something called DNA, which passes the heritable traits from parent to offspring, goes from one generation to another generation. And the structure के ऊपर फिर काम हुआ, and 1953 में, for which they got Nobel Prize in 1962, Watson and Crick, they gave the double helical structure of DNA. Rosalind Franklin studied helical structure in detail. Maurice Wilkins, she could not get the Nobel Prize probably because she was working on the structure and X-ray diffraction, and she was exposed to a lot of rays, and she probably got ovarian cancer. And after her death, Nobel Prize mein, there is a rule probably that they don't give prize after the death. So this lady could not get any prize, but she has worked on helical structure. And then Maurice Wilkins did work on X-ray crystallography on stricture of DNA, got Nobel Prize in 1962. And Barbara McClintock discovered the mobile genetic materials and got Nobel Prize in 1983. So now, before going further, I will just try to explain you about the this Griffiths experiment and Every's experiment, how they got the concept of this thing. Griffith basically, he was trying to find out, develop a vaccine against pneumonia. So he showed that bacteria can transfer genetic material through transformation, and he used two strains. One was the rough strain, R strain he called it, and another was the S strain. R strain was rough, non-virulent, did not cause the disease. Mouse, when it was injected into the mouse, it lived. And R strain was non-capsulated. Rough tha, capsule nahi tha, इसलिए it was called rough. So it was non-virulent and no disease was caused. And when he injected the smooth strain, another strain which was smooth, had a capsule, then he saw that the mouse developed the disease and it died. ठीक है, तो ये दो concepts तो clear हो गए. Then what did he do? He heat inactivated the smooth strain. He thought कि smooth strain में कुछ तो होगा जिससे infection हो रहा है, तो मैं उसको kill कर देता हूँ heat से. So he killed the smooth strain, and he found that that thing which was causing the disease was killed and mouse lived. Now he had another idea. What did he do? Two things which did not cause the disease, the rough strain as well as the heat killed strain, S strain, he mixed these two, and to his surprise, he saw that the mouse died. But independently, both were not causing the disease, but when they were mixed, they caused the disease. That means that our strain had taken up something from the smooth heat kill smooth strain, which was probably the transforming principle, and got transformed into S form. Okay? So R got transformed to S when it came into contact with the heat killed S strain. So this gave the concept of a transformation. Every McCarty and McLeod, they did another experiment in which they separated the transforming material from the heat killed cells. Okay? They separated the heat killed cells, and then they separated into 3 tubes, and then they added the proteinase enzyme which kills the proteins, the RNase enzyme which kills the RNA, and the DNase enzyme which kills the DNA. And they found that the S strain appeared in both first and second, which were not killing the DNA, but it was not appeared in the flask which in which there was no DNA, because he had added DNase in that. So DNase killed the DNA, there was no DNA, and then there was no S cell appearance. So the transforming factor was DNA. That was proved by his experiment. Hershey and Chase, they provided an independent information, complete evidence, and they gave this information that the DNA was the one which was causing the infection. He used a virus, T2-Fez virus, DNA virus, which was labeled with P32. P phosphorus है तो वो DNA में था. So DNA was tagged with radioactive phosphorus, and protein code जो उसका था, that was tagged with sulfur, radioactive sulfur. ठीक है? So one batch of the phage was labeled with another batch was labeled with P32, which is incorporated into DNA. So bacteria was infected with the phage. So this bacteria was infected, and then shearing force was applied to separate the both virus and bacteria, and the pellet which was left behind was the bacteria, and the supernatant was the virus. And they saw that the pellet had radioactive phosphorus, whereas the supernatant had radioactive sulfur. That means bacteria के अंदर virus का radioactive phosphorus incorporate हो चुका था. That means the DNA had been incorporated into the bacteria, but not the sulfur, which was the protein coat. That means protein coat was assumed to have been kept out. Okay. So this is how they proved that only DNA was present in the bacteria. इस तरह के experiments के बाद finally they got this information that there is DNA which is infecting and which is a transforming material. Now, before going further, I'll just introduce a fun fact just to break the monotony. It takes about 8 hours for one of your cell to completely copy its DNA. DNA is such big molecule. And the human DNA code is made up of 30 billion ATCNG on each side of the DNA strand. Okay? So each cell has 30 billion ATG and C nucleotides. So this is the DNA. Now we are starting the structure of DNA. We will study in detail about DNA. So you can see this is the double-stranded molecule, and these colorful things, teeth-like things, these are the nucleotide bases. और जो ये blue वाला है वो उसका outer skeleton है जिसका जो कि sugars and phosphates हैं. ठीक है? So first model of DNA was proposed by Watson and Crick based on R. Franklin and Chargaff's observations, and it represents DNA as a double helix molecule. Just a second. So it represents the DNA as a double helix molecule, and the structure of DNA has two sugar phosphate backbones on the outside, which are bound, and it is bound by hydrogen bonds between pairs of nitrogen bases inside. So this you can see, this is the sugar phosphate, this ribbon-like thing is the sugar phosphate backbone, which is on the outside, and inside of the this helix we can see the bases which are bound to each other with the help of hydrogen bonds. अब इनमें ये डीएनए की प्रॉपर्टीज में आएगा जब हम अभी करेंगे कि कौन सी बेस किससे पेयर करेगी, कितने नंबर ऑफ बॉन्ड्स के साथ पेयर करेगी. दिस इज ऑल स्पेसिफाइड. सो नाइट्रोजन बेसिस जो पेयर करते हैं दे आर द प्यूरिन्स एंड pyrimidines, and monomeric dinucleotides units of DNA I've already told you. Just a second, it's not moving. So the structure of DNA Watson-Crick model structure was proposed by 1953 by Watson and Crick, and see, we are carrying out hereditary information from one cell to another cell, parent cell to the offspring. So this has to be with high degree of fidelity. So इस अगर इतना तरीके से करना है तो we have to have some sound mechanism for that. Specific information होगी, exact way में कुछ होगा. So we need to have some specific rules which we have to follow. And X-ray diffraction data from DNA molecule showed that the helix turns after 3.4 nanometers. ठीक है? So there is a periodicity of 3.4 nanometers, and another observation was that given by the Chargaff that the concentration of adenine molecules is equal to thymine and guanine is equal to cytosine. So overall purines are equal to pyrimidines. So this was another information that Chargaff had already given. So units are combined by 3' 5' phosphodiester bond to polymerize. I will explain this. 3' hydroxyl of one sugar जो मैंने आपको दिखाया था is combined to the 5' hydroxyl of the another sugar. जो next nucleotide जिससे वो bind करेगा उसके 5' से ये 3' hydroxyl जो है वो bind करेगा. Bases then keep on coming and the sugar phosphate skeleton is formed, and the sequence of nucleotides are of paramount importance, and this is called genetic code. The sequence of nucleotides. किस A के बाद G आया, G के बाद C आया, C के बाद T आया. You have to have that sequence. Randomly नहीं हो सकता कि किसी के बाद भी कुछ आ जाए. We need to have a specific sequence because that sequence forms the genetic code by which the formation of the proteins is guided. And the DNA, it follows a 5' to 3' polarity. What do you mean by polarity? I will tell you in detail. So just to explain the structure again, you can see that double helix is formed, and these are the rungs of the ladder. This is the ladder, and these are the legs of the ladder which form the sugar phosphate backbone, and the rungs, they form the nitrogenous bases that is formed by the nitrogenous bases. Now we come to the features of DNA molecule. DNA is a long thread-like molecule with 2 strands, which is clear till now. DNA helix gets formed when 2 polynucleotide strands wind around each other with respect to their common axis. Each strand is polymer, where monomers like deoxy-AMP, deoxy-TMP, deoxy-GMP, and deoxy-CMP are joined by phosphodiester bond of 3' hydroxyl and 5' phosphate of the adjacent nucleotides. ठीक है? समझ आ रहा सबको? I hope everybody is understanding. Each strand is a polymer where these monomers of these bases, they are joined by the phosphodiester bond. और bond कैसे बन रहा है? जो ये you can see, this is the वो, इसमें इस फिगर में नहीं दिख रहा है. पिछली फिगर में अगर हम देखें तो वो you can see this is the base and it forms कार्बन 1 के साथ तो बेस अटैच्ड है. कार्बन 3 का जो हाइड्रोक्सिल है उसके ऑक्सीजन के साथ नेक्स्ट न्यूक्लियोटाइड का फॉस्फेट जो 5' ऑक्सीजन के साथ अटैच्ड है उसके साथ 3' ऑफ प्रीवियस ने 5' ऑफ नेक्स्ट के फॉस्फेट के साथ बॉन्ड बनाया, फॉस्फोडाइस्टर बॉन्ड. ठीक है? So this is how every nucleotide will keep on attaching with the help of 3' 5' phosphodiester bond and will form a, और बेसिस सारी अंदर की तरफ रहेंगी और फॉस्फोस शुगर जो स्केलेटन है वो आउटसाइड की तरफ रहेगा. ठीक है? This is how they are joined. Again, you can see in this figure how these sugar phosphate backbone and these bases, I told you purine and pyrimidines, A only binds with T and G only binds with C. And A and T, they have 2 double bonds, and G and C have 3 double bonds. This is how they are formed. Features of Watson and Crick model, they are the DNA is held in a polymeric form by 3' 5' phosphodiester bonds, constituting a single strand sequence in which these monomers are arranged. This arrangement is highly ordered arrangement. The polymer possesses a polarity. One end has 5' hydroxyl or phosphate terminal. Other end will have a free 3' phosphate or hydroxyl terminal. ठीक है? The center of the double helix has a nitrogenous base and the sugar phosphate chains in the sides. The backbone of the strand is made up of alternating phosphate and deoxyribose nucleus molecules, which lie on an exterior molecule of this thing, and the bases lie perpendicular to the backbone and are parallel to each other. I have already explained this. Another term which you need to know in this is that the 2 strands are anti-parallel. What does this anti-parallel mean? That they run in opposite directions. If one strand is going from 5' to 3', then the other will go from 3' to 5'. Each strand is oriented in right-handed helix. ठीक है? Obviously, one strand will go in 5' to 3', the other end will go into 3' to 5'. The 2 strands of this double-stranded helix are held by hydrogen bonds between purine and pyrimidine of opposite linear molecules, and also they have some van der Waals forces and hydrophobic interactions between the stacked adjacent base pairs. जो bases हैं उनके बीच में van der Waals forces रहेंगी, और जो प्यूरिन pyrimidine opposite sides वाले हैं उनके बीच में hydrogen bonds रहेंगे. The pairing between purine and pyrimidine nucleotides in the opposite strand is very specific. A will always bind with T and G will bind with C, because why is this so? Adenine has a bigger structure, guanine has a bigger structure. Thymine and cytosine have a smaller structure. So only purine and pyrimidine bond and the steric hindrance, the space जो होती है core DNA के अंदर, it allows only purine and pyrimidine का bond ही हो सकता है. If pyrimidine bonding takes place, then there is no space. It causes steric hindrance. And if purine are allowed, then this space is too much, and these molecules, they will keep on hanging. So N-glycosidic bond, they favor TA, T and GC pairing as complement. This is known as complementary base pairing. Now the DNA double helix contains two grooves, major and minor grooves, which are formed due to the binding of two strands. And a common form of DNA is the right-sided helix, which because when one looks down the double helix, the base residue form a spiral clockwise in a clockwise direction. ठीक है, स्पाइरल क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन में बनता हुआ दिखता है अगर आप उसको ऊपर से देखें डबल हेलिक्स को. सो वो राइट हैंडेड हेलिक्स होता है, A pair with T, G pair with C, and this if it has 10 base pairs in one turn, so that form of DNA is the B form, which is most common. There are other forms of DNA also, which I will explain in detail in further slides. So in a double-stranded DNA molecule, the genetic information resides. Where does it? अब इसमें हमने DNA molecule का structure में पढ़ लिया कि complementary bases हैं, sugar phosphate का backbone है, अंदर की side पे nucleotides हैं, A और T और G और C का bonding है, double bond है A और T में और G और C में triple bond है. लेकिन इस सब के अंदर one thing which you always should remember, that this sequence of nucleotides is very important. It cannot be randomly placed. Every species has a particular sequence of nucleotides, and the sequence of nucleotides on one strand, that is called the template or non-coding strand, and the opposite strand is called the coding strand, or the the template strand or the non-coding strand is the one that is copied during the RNA synthesis, and the opposite strand, which is the coding strand, because it matches the sequence of RNA transcript containing uracil in place of thymine. If I will just check if anybody has any questions till now, and if you want me to repeat something, I will repeat again. Am I clear till now? You want me to repeat any topic again till now with what we have done? You can write in the chat box. So shall I move further? In double-stranded DNA, the sequence of like you can see in this, see, one strand is coding strand and the other strand is called the template strand. कोडिंग स्ट्रैंड में आरएनए जब बनेगा तो आरएनए उसका कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री सीक्वेंस में बनेगा, ठीक है, और फिर उस आरएनए के ऊपर कोडिंग स्ट्रैंड की कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री बेसिस आ जाएंगी, ठीक है. सो opposite strand will be the coding strand because it matches the sequence of RNA transcript, but it will contain uracil in place of thymine. So this is the how we name these the two strands. One is the coding and one is the non-coding. So important points of Watson-Crick model which we have done till now are: it is right-handed double helix, base pairing rule, AT and GC, Chargaff rule that double bonded, triple bonded, they are complementary. Purine is equal to pyrimidine. Hydrogen bonding, 2 bonds between AT and 3 bonds between GC. Anti-parallel strands, one strand runs in 5' to 3' direction, the other strand runs in 3' to 5' direction. Each strand has a template for synthesis of the opposite strand, and it has a pitch that is 3.4 nanometer पे टर्न आता है, और एक टर्न के अंदर 10 बेस पेयर्स होते हैं in B form of DNA. Adjacent bases are 3.4 nanometer, 0.34 nanometer apart with width of 20 angstroms. Now I will talk about the types of DNA. In the test tube, अगर हम डीएनए को सेल्स से सेपरेट करें तो वी कैन सी कि डीएनए की किस तरह की फॉर्म्स होती हैं. इट कैन एग्जिस्ट इन एटलीस्ट 6 फॉर्म्स, A, B, C, D, E, and another form which is called Z form. So there are 6 forms of DNA, but only 3 are mainly important, out of which B is the most common and found in humans, which we are going to study in detail. The change in the structure helps in transcription and gene expression. The change in the structure of this DNA, ये different forms of DNA जो हैं, इनका purpose क्या है? Because they are all helping in gene expression and transcription. Different forms of DNA differ in the number of bases in each cell, length of the pitch of each turn, diameter of the DNA helix, and nature of the major and the minor groups. So in this figure, you can see A type. How does it look like? B DNA, how does it look like? And Z DNA, how does it look like? Z is more zigzag form, B is helical, and A, you can see it has different kinds of major and minor groups. So this is the main thing. A DNA and B DNA both are right-handed, whereas the left DNA, Z DNA is the left-handed. A DNA is very broad, B is intermediate, and Z DNA is the narrowest. Bases per turn, A DNA is a bit longer than B, 11 base pairs, B has 10 base pairs, and Z has 12 base pairs. Tilt of the base pairs, relative tilt would be maximum in A DNA, 20 degrees, 1 degree in B DNA, 9 degree in Z DNA. Diameter of helix, you can see this is broad, so it has a higher, A is broad now. Pitch per turn is least for that number of, where does it turn? Major groove इसका narrow है और Z DNA का flat है, जबकि इसका हमारे B DNA which is present in humans has a wide major groove. And minor groove is very broad for A DNA, narrow for B DNA, and very narrow for Z DNA. To the extent that it does not, we say that it does not exist. A DNA exists in high salt medium, and B DNA exists in the 92% humidity in the normal physiological form of DNA, which we are separating is the B DNA, and Z DNA is the unusual DNA. So B DNA form, Watson and Crick model is for the B DNA conformation. It is the most common right-handed helix orientation, and it consists of 10 base pairs with 3.4 nanometer length. And it has a wide major and a narrow minor groove. This you should know because you can get a short note on B DNA form, in different forms of DNA. A form is also right-handed helix, does not normally exist at for physiological conditions. It is found when relative humidity is less than 75%, and it has 11 base pairs with a length of 2.86 nanometers. Z DNA is zigzag DNA, left-handed orientation, and narrower than A and B, has 12 base pairs with 4.56 nanometer length, thinness, no true major groove. It is because it is very flat. Okay, minor groove is very deep and narrow, and this DNA helps in gene expression. Now we come to the properties of DNA. You see, denaturation of first property is that abhi tak you have to have this in mind that the DNA is a double-stranded molecule. The two strands are bound to each other with the help of hydrogen bonds between the complementary bases on each strand. Okay. Now, if we separate these two strands, That is called denaturation. And this is how we analyze the structure. अगर हमें basis पढ़नी है कि किसके अंदर क्या sequence पढ़ना चाहते हैं अगर किसी DNA की, तो we have to denature the DNA first. So unwinding and separation of the double-stranded DNA with intact individual strands is the denaturation. इसमें covalent bonds are not broken. It occurs by increasing the temperature or decreasing the salt concentration, and concomitant with denaturation, there will be an increase in optical absorbance of the purine and pyrimidine. That is called hyperchromicity of denaturation. And because of, and what do you mean by optical absorbance? That means at 260 nanometers, particularly at 260 nanometers, there is DNA, purines and pyrimidines, they absorb light. ठीक है? So we use this 260 nanometer पे DNA की हम OD लेते हैं, and we estimate the purity of DNA. If it is high, that means कि molecule, the solution has purely DNA. If it is less, and we compare it with the OD at 280 nanometer पे जो OD है वो आती है प्रोटीन से. तो if 280 की ज्यादा है, 260 की कम है, या रेशियो हम देखते हैं, तो हमें पता चल जाता है कि प्रोटीन्स का उसके अंदर कंटेमिनेशन है. प्योरली डीएनए होगा तो 260 पे बहुत हाई ऑप्टिकल अब्जॉर्बेंस आपको मिलेगी. When denaturation takes place, this optical absorbance OD at 260 nanometer increases, and this is called as hyperchromicity of denaturation. ठीक है? Because of stacking of the bases, the double-stranded DNA exhibit properties of rigid rod, and it becomes viscous material that loses its viscosity upon denaturation. So, अगर हम किसी चीज को डीनेचर कर रहे हैं तो हम उसे रीनेचर भी कर सकते हैं. So renaturation of the DNA requires a base pairing matching. आप कोई दो strands को या कोई भी दो complementary strands को, एक DNA का हो सकता है या DNA complementary RNA का हो सकता है ना? तो दो complementary strands को अगर आप ऐसी atmosphere देते हो कि वो वापस से कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री मतलब आपस में बॉन्ड्स बना सकें, तो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज रीनेचरेशन. The separated strands of DNA will renature or reassociate with each other when appropriate physiological temperature and salt conditions are achieved, and depends upon it. This depends upon the complementarity of your strands. ठीक है? Another term which I want to introduce is DNA hybridization. Hybridization का मतलब कि base pairing of two complementary strands. It is same as renaturation. Base pairing of two complementary strands from two different species. Renaturation तो मतलब same DNA molecule को denature किया फिर renature कर दिया. दो species के molecules different, दो DNAs को या RNAs को, DNA RNA को अगर आप दो different strands को आप attach कर रहे हो, complementary हैं वो लेकिन आपस में, तभी hybridize कर पाएंगे. So that is called hybridization. So rate of reassociation will again depend upon the concentration of the complementary strands, and the hybrid molecule will also form under appropriate conditions. DNA will form a hybrid with complementary cDNA or with a cognate mRNA. Now, another term which we need to know is melting of DNA. ठीक है? और TM, melting temperature. I am again asking, are you okay with whatever has been done till now, or you want me to repeat something? Denaturation, you want me to repeat or anything else? I will again explain denaturation again. Let me go to denaturation again. See, denaturation means जब ये हमारे दो strands हैं, मतलब take it as any DNA. It is not कि मैं कोई particular type of DNA बता रही हूँ, ये दो strands हैं. अगर मैं इन strands के solution को heat दूंगी या salt concentration बढ़ा दूंगी, pH change कर दूंगी, तो ये जो bond आपस में इनका दो strands के basis का A और T या G और C के बीच में जो bond है, वो टूट जाएगा. टूटेगा तो ऑब्वियसली एक स्ट्रैंड अलग हो जाएगा, दूसरा स्ट्रैंड अलग हो जाएगा. सो दिस विल बी that the two strands will be separated. अनवाइंडिंग एंड सेपरेशन ऑफ डबल स्ट्रैंडेड डीएनए विद, जबकि पूरा मॉलिक्यूल आपस में इंटैक्ट रहेगा, क्योंकि कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड्स नहीं ब्रेक कर रहे। कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड्स मतलब फॉस्फोडाइस्टर बॉन्ड और जो बेस अटैच है शुगर के साथ, वो बॉन्ड ब्रेक नहीं कर रहे, तो एक स्ट्रैंड इंटैक्ट रहेगा, लेकिन आपस में जो उनकी हाइड्रोजन बॉन्ड्स थे वो टूट जाएंगे। So it occurs by increasing the temperature or decreasing the salt concentration, and when denaturation takes place, आपके पास डबल स्ट्रैंडेड डीएनए की जगह पे दो स्ट्रैंड्स अलग अलग सिंगल स्ट्रैंडेड वो आ जाते हैं, तो न्यूक्लिक एसिड्स के जो प्यूरिन्स एंड पिरिमिडिन्स हैं वो और ओपन हो जाते हैं। तो इसके बाद उनकी ऑप्टिकल अब्जॉर्बेंस बढ़ जाती है, एंड दिस इज कॉल्ड हाइपरक्रोमिसिटी ऑफ डीनेचुरेशन। ठीक है, एंड ये हम प्योरिटी ऑफ डीएनए चेक करते हैं 260 नैनोमीटर्स पे। And when these two strands are allowed to again combine, reassociate, then we call as renaturation, which depends upon the base pairing, आपस में कॉम्प्लीमेंटेरिटी कितनी है स्ट्रैंड्स की, उसके अकॉर्डिंग। अगर तो कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री स्ट्रैंड्स हैं, अगर हमने एक डीएनए को डीनेचर किया तो वो तो बिल्कुल कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री है, वो आपस में एकदम से जुड़ जाएंगे। एक अगर हमने एक डीएनए में से रैट का है और एक डीएनए से डॉग का है, उसके अंदर कॉम्प्लीमेंटेरिटी कितनी है, थोड़ी बहुत तो होगी। अगर तो कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री स्ट्रैंड्स हैं तो उनको आपस में अगर हम हाइब्रिडाइज कराएंगे, डीएनए को अगर हम अटैच कराएंगे दो डीएनए को, उसको हम हाइब्रिडाइजेशन करेंगे, base pairing of two complementary strands from two different species is called hybridization. And this hybridization can occur between two DNA with RNA also. So now we come on to melting. Denaturation of DNA को मैंने ये तो आपको बता दिया कि उसको अगर हम हीट करेंगे तो वो मेल्ट वो डीनेचर कर जाएगा। तो denaturation of DNA by heating over a temperature range, एक पर्टिकुलर टेम्परेचर के रेंज के ऊपर हम उसे हीट करते हैं तो वो डीनेचर होता है। ठीक है, अब मान लीजिए उसको 10 डिग्री टेम्परेचर पे तो वो मेल्ट डीनेचर नहीं करेगा, उसको 640 पे भी डीनेचर नहीं कर रहा, 70 पे वो डीनेचर कर रहा है, 70 80 90 पे वो डीनेचर कर जाता है। सो देयर इज अ टेम्परेचर रेंज एट विच इट विल डीनेचर। तो मिड पॉइंट ऑफ दैट रेंज टेम्परेचर, midpoint, not that temperature, but the midpoint is called Tm of the Tm temperature, where half of the DNA undergoes denaturation. ठीक है, so Tm is the midpoint where half of the DNA undergoes denaturation. It is influenced by base composition of DNA, DNA rich GC pairs, where three H bonds, they melt at higher temperature than 80 rich area. जीसी में 3 बॉन्ड्स हैं, 80 में 2 बॉन्ड्स हैं, तो ऑब्वियसली 3 बॉन्ड्स के लिए आपको ज्यादा हीट देना पड़ेगा, तो टीएम उसका हाई होगा। सॉल्ट कॉन्सेंट्रेशन पे भी डिपेंड करता है। 10-fold इंक्रीज ऑफ मोनोवेलेंट केटायन कॉन्सेंट्रेशन इंक्रीजेस द टीएम बाय 16.6 डिग्रीज। अगर सॉल्ट कॉन्सेंट्रेशन ज्यादा है तो भी टीएम ज्यादा होगा। Organic solvent like formamide destabilizes the hydrogen bond between bases, thereby lowering the TM. ठीक है, so there are salt concentration increases the TM, लेकिन organic solvents they decrease the TM. So in this figure you can see this is the minor groove and this is the major groove. जब एक घूम रहा है, ठीक है, ये हेलिक्स जब घूम रहा है, so this is the minor groove and this big turn is the major groove. ठीक है, अब इसके अंदर बी वाले के अंदर बी डीएनए में मेजर ग्रूव इज 1.2 नैनोमीटर, माइनर ग्रूव इज 0.6 नैनोमीटर, whereas TM is the melting temperature of DNA. Now the different shapes and sizes of DNA. The DNA is very long compared from the size of the cell. जितना सेल का साइज है उसके कंपैरिजन में अगर हम डीएनए को देखें तो डीएनए बहुत लंबा है, ठीक है, बट डीएनए उस सेल के अंदर एक छोटा सा न्यूक्लियस है जिसके अंदर डीएनए आराम से फिट है। हाउ इज दिस टेकिंग प्लेस, वो तो मैंने डिटेल में ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में आपको कल बताना है, लेकिन you need to remember कि size of DNA as compared to the size of the cell is too long, and DNA undergoes packing and organization to fit into the host cell, and shape, it can be linear or circular. I've already told you eukaryotes, plants and animals, the DNAs are linear in shape, which are scattered on the chromosomes, whereas in the prokaryotes, bacteria and all, the DNA is circular in shape and they are not present in the nucleus. Now the next property of DNA which I would like to discuss is the supercoiling of DNA. Some organisms like bacteria, the prokaryotes, or some DNA containing viruses, also mitochondria. So in some बैक्टीरिया या वायरसेस जिनका डीएनए कंटेनिंग वायरसेस है, या फिर दी माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया, द एंड्स ऑफ डीएनए मॉलिक्यूल्स दे आर जॉइंड टू क्रिएट अ क्लोज्ड सर्कल विद नो कोवेलेंटली फ्री एंड्स, विदाउट फ्री 3' और 5' हाइड्रोक्सिल फॉस्फोरिल ग्रुप्स. ठीक है, जो लीनियर वाले हैं, जो सर्कुलर नहीं है, नॉन सर्कुलर प्रोकैरियोट्स में, जो यूकैरियोट्स में जो हैं, उनके पास एक साइड से जब आपने 3' और 5' फॉस्फेट आपस में फॉस्फोडाइस्टर बॉन्ड बनाते गए, लेकिन फर्स्ट और लास्ट के 5' फॉस्फोरस एंड 3' हाइड्रोक्सिल एंड विल बी फ्री. ठीक है, लेकिन जो सर्कुलर डीएनए है उसके अंदर तो फ्री एंड नहीं होगा. that will be a closed circle with no covalently free ends, without all free 3' and 5' hydroxyl phosphoryl groups. So the closed circles, they exist in relaxed or supercoiled forms. Closed circles, they exist in relaxed or supercoiled forms. जो लीनियर है उनमें तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, लेकिन अगर जैसे एक रबर बैंड होता है, ठीक है, उसको अगर आप घुमाना शुरू कर दें तो वो उसके अंदर कॉइल्स आनी शुरू हो जाती हैं, स्ट्रेन आना शुरू हो जाता है. Supercoils are introduced when a closed circle is twisted around its own axis, or when a linear piece of duplex DNA whose ends are fixed is twisted. Okay, so you can understand what I mean. Supercoils will be introduced when a closed circle will be just like a rubber band. If you twist it, a supercoil will be introduced in it. This is energy requirement process, and it puts the molecule under torsional stress. The negative supercoils are formed when the molecule is twisted in the direction opposite from the clockwise turns of the right-handed double helix. DNA तो right-handed double helix में है, चाहे वो सर्कुलर है चाहे लीनियर है. अगर आपने उसको ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन में ट्विस्ट दिया है तो नेगेटिव सुपरकॉइल आएगा. अगर सेम डायरेक्शन में राइट हैंड क्लॉकवाइज ही घुमाया है तो पॉजिटिव सुपरकॉइल बनेगा. And energy required to achieve this is in a sense stored in the supercoils only, and the transition to another form that requires energy is facilitated by the underwinding. Supercoiled DNA is preferred form in the biological systems because it stores energy. Now we are coming to end of the DNA functions. Before that, I will try to explain about the functions of DNA, which is main एक ही function है DNA का. It provides as a template for replication and transcription, and genetic information stored in the nucleotide sequence of DNA serves two purposes: information for the synthesis of all proteins, and it gives information to be inherited by the daughter cells. So both these functions are require that the DNA molecule serve as the template. In first case where protein molecule banana hai, तो this information has to be transferred to RNA and then to DNA. And in the second case where only the information has to be transferred to the offspring, that is the case of the replication. कि DNA has to replicate itself and form another cell. ठीक है, जब एक और सेल बनेगा तो उसके लिए साइटोप्लाज्म भी बनेगा और DNA भी बनेगा. So replication and transcription. Transcription is the process in which DNA forms RNA, and when RNA forms protein, that is called translation. So DNA is undergoing two main functions: replication of itself and transcription to RNA. Another thing which I want to introduce is the mitochondrial DNA, because mitochondrial DNA के ऊपर short note आ जाता है. So you should know about the mitochondrial DNA also. Mitochondrial DNA contains the DNA which constitutes about 1% of the total cellular DNA. It is present as double-stranded circular DNA, okay? And it has 16,569 base pairs, and 2 to 10 copies of this DNA are present in the mitochondria. Out of the total 67, there are total 67 peptides which are found in mitochondria, and out of this 67, 54 are coded by the nuclear DNA. ठीक है, तो माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया के अंदर जो प्रोटीन्स होते हैं वो है 67, लेकिन उन 67 में से 54 तो न्यूक्लियर डीएनए से कोड हो रहे हैं, लेकिन रेस्ट 13 पॉलीपेप्टाइड्स आर कोडेड बाय द माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल डीएनए. ठीक है, अब ये कौन कौन से हैं? दीज आर दी 7 subunits of complex 1 of electron transport chain, that is NADH dehydrogenase, then cytochrome B of complex 3 of ETC, subunits of cytochrome oxidase, ATP synthase के 2 subunits. ठीक है, और तो ये माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल डीएनए कोड कर रहा है. उसके अलावा जो इसमें पता होना चाहिए, दैट द माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल rRNA and 22 tRNAs are coded by mitochondrial DNA. It has very less untranslated, so मतलब सारा का सारा डीएनए जो है वो प्रोटीन बनाने में काम आता है, कोई भी बहुत लेस पोर्शन है जो अनट्रांसलेटेड रह जाता है. अदरवाइज मैं आपको आगे बताऊंगी कि डीएनए जो है वो मेनली only 1 to 2% of the total DNA is the one which is actually forming proteins, rest is the junk DNA. ठीक है, तो लेकिन माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल के केस में most of the DNA is translated. The mitochondrial genetic code is different in 4 codons as compared to nuclear DNA. ठीक है, like UGA for tryptophan and AGG of arginine are as stop codons. मतलब न्यूक्लियर डीएनए में तो UGA स्टॉप कोडॉन है, लेकिन इसके अंदर माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल डीएनए में वो ट्रिप्टोफैन का कोडॉन है. और जो आर्जिनिन के हैं न्यूक्लियर डीएनए के AGA और AGG जो आर्जिनिन बनाते हैं, इसके अंदर वो स्टॉप कोडॉन्स बन जाते हैं. देयर आर नो इंट्रॉन्स. आई टोल्ड यू ना कि इसमें जंक बहुत कम है. इंट्रॉन्स और एक्सॉन्स में भी आपको आगे बताऊंगी, तो लेकिन इसमें याद रखो कि वेरी लिटिल इज द वन व्हिच इज नॉट ट्रांसलेटेड, and it stays in relaxed or supercoiled state, which is a preferable mode, and it follows the human this thing. It has 5 to 10 times high mutation rate than nuclear DNA. Mitochondrial DNA is contributed by ovum during the zygote formation. ठीक है, तो maternal non-Mendelian inheritance है इसकी. सारा mitochondrial DNA सेल के अंदर comes from the ovum. And there are several diseases which are known to due to the mutations of mitochondrial DNA, like इसको हम ऑक्सफॉस कहते हैं, ऑक्सीडेटिव फॉस्फोराइलेशन डिजीजेस, एंड मेनली जो इसकी होती है मायोक्लोनिक एपिलेप्सी, माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल एन्केफेलोपैथी एंड लैक्टिक एसिडोसिस, मेलास एंड लॉन, द लेबर हेरिडिटरी ऑप्टिक न्यूरोपैथी. मेलास इज MELAS, which is myoclonic epilepsy, mitochondrial encephalopathy, and lactic acidosis, and Leber hereditary optic neuropathy. So these are the 2 main diseases which are due to the mitochondrial DNA mutations. Since the एक और important बात इसमें याद रखने की है, since the mitochondrial DNA is contributed by ovum, the mitochondrial DNA diseases are transmitted by mother to all her children, but only the daughters will pass the trait. Sons will never pass the trait to their children, but only daughters can pass, because mitochondrial DNA goes from mother to only from the mother. Many mitochondrial DNA diseases are characterized by myopathy resulting from abnormal mitochondria and muscle fibers. उसको हम कहते हैं ragged red fibers. Now I come to RNA. So I finished with DNA and I come to RNA. After DNA, it is important. RNA is another important biological molecule, and it is principally involved in the central dogma, specifically in the synthesis of proteins. It carries the genetic information from DNA and translates them to proteins. And the chemical composition, it is made up of 4 ribonucleotides, AMP. इसमें देख लीजिए deoxy हम D आगे नहीं लगा रहे because AMP, UMP, GMP and CMP. RNA का स्ट्रक्चर एज कम्पेयर टू DNA हम देखें तो वो डबल स्टैंडर्ड था, ये सिंगल स्टैंडर्ड है. अगेन उसकी तरह से ही इसके अंदर भी 3 प्राइम 5 प्राइम फॉस्फोडाइस्टर बॉन्ड है. DNA की तरह ही यहाँ पे पोलैरिटी है. देयर इज नो बेस इक्विवेलेंस, बट हाँ इसमें देयर इज नो बेस इक्विवेलेंस ऑफ प्यूरिन एंड pyrimidine. व्हाई? बिकॉज कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री स्ट्रैंड ही नहीं है. अपने हिसाब से जितना मर्जी प्यूर पर एक पर्टिकुलर सीक्वेंस होगी, क्योंकि ये बनता डीएनए से है तो डीएनए किसी एक डीएनए का कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री होगा ये. टू परफॉर्म different essential functions, RNA has several types like mRNA, messenger RNA, tRNA, transfer RNA, snRNA, hnRNA, rRNA, and एक microRNA. First we come to hnRNA. hnRNA is also called as heterogeneous. अब heterogeneous का मतलब जिसमें कुछ different होगा. Heterogeneous, it is not homogeneous. एक जैसा नहीं है, अलग अलग तरह का है. अब अलग अलग तरह का इसमें क्या है? एक तो ये न्यूक्लियर डीएनए है, ठीक है. जो ट्रांसलेशन है आरएनए टू प्रोटीन वो होता है साइटोप्लाज्म में जाके, लेकिन आरएनए तो डीएनए के अंदर ही बनेगा. तो जब डीएनए में न्यूक्लियस के अंदर ही बनेगा, तो जब डीएनए से न्यूक्लियस के अंदर आरएनए बना, फर्स्ट जो कॉपी उसकी बनी, दैट इज कॉल्ड हेटेरोजेनस न्यूक्लियर आरएनए. These are the large pre-mRNAs of various nucleotide sequences formed by RNA polymerase II. It is modified in the nucleus to become cytoplasmic mRNAs. It is modified in the nucleus to become cytoplasmic messenger RNA. तो जो एक्टिव फॉर्म ऑफ आरएनए है जो कि ट्रांसलेशन करेगा, प्रोटीन्स बनाएगा, वो होता है मैसेंजर आरएनए. लेकिन वो किससे बनता है? हेटेरोजेनस आरएनए से, विच इज प्री एमआरएनए, लार्ज प्री एमआरएनए. ठीक है. अब इसके अंदर आप देख सकते हैं कि ये एक जीन है, ये उसके बीच में कुछ नॉन ट्रांसलेटेड पोर्शन है, फिर जीन आ गया, फिर नॉन ट्रांसलेटेड, ये हेटेरोजेनस आरएनए हुआ. फिर एक बना, फिर उसकी प्रोसेसिंग हुई, कि प्रोसेसिंग में उसकी 5 प्राइम पे कैप हुई, इधर 3 प्राइम एंड पे कुछ एडिनाइलेट ग्रुप्स ऐड हुए, इसकी प्रोसेसिंग हुई. एंड देन जो इसके बीच के पोर्शंस हैं जो ट्रांसलेट नहीं होने, उनको हमने स्लाइसिंग से हटा दिया और एक पर्टिकुलर मैसेंजर आरएनए बना दिया. सो दिस इज हाउ heterogeneous RNA to a messenger RNA formation takes place. Details of this you will be studying later. अभी मैं सिर्फ आपको ब्रॉड आउटलाइन दे रही हूँ ताकि जब आप पढ़ें तो आपको पता रहे कि आप क्या हो रहा है. ठीक है. इसके डिटेल्ड प्रोसेसेस विल बी टॉट टू यू लेटर व्हेन यू विल डू दी processing of RNA. So heterogeneous RNA, you have understood that this is the large precursor of messenger RNA in which non-translated ट्रांसलेटेड पोर्शन ऑफ डीएनए मैंने फिर से मैं बता रही हूँ मेरा कि डीएनए जो है दैट इज अ वेरी बिग मॉलिक्यूल एंड होल डीएनए विल नॉट, इसकी जितनी सीक्वेंसेस हैं, कुछ एक सीक्वेंस एक जीन होगा जो जिसपे कि अच्छा, बिफोर आई गो टू डिटेल्स ऑफ आरएनए आई कैन गिव यू अ ब्रेक फॉर 2 minutes. इज इट ओके? We can split for say 2 minutes, like it is 10:07 in by my watch. So 10:10. After 3 minutes, we will rejoin. Okay. You can have water or something. I'll join after 3 minutes. Okay. So now we rejoin. Okay. So abhi tak I have told you about DNA mainly, and one thing which I want to convey again, that DNA is the molecule which is forming the RNA, and then that RNA is forming the protein. And DNA has, I told you, so many billion of nucleotide sequences. All those sequences are not for protein formation or RNA formation. Only 1% of that sequence is actually the one which is transcribed and then translated. So rest of all is called as junk DNA. ठीक है? तो वो इंट्रॉन की फॉर्म में जो इंटरवीनिंग सीक्वेंसेस हैं, तो ये HNRNA में क्या हो रहा है कि दिस इज दी, जो ये ब्लॉक्स में आपको बार्स दिख रहे हैं, these are the bars which will be translated. बट बीच के जो सीक्वेंसेस हैं वो जंक डीएनए के पोर्शन हैं जो इनको इंटरवीन कर रहे हैं. तो इन इंटरवीनिंग को हम निकाल देते हैं और इंट्रॉन्स कहते हैं, और इनको हम निकाल देते हैं स्प्लाइसिंग से. तो जब HNRNA का फर्स्ट कॉपी बनता है, ठीक है, फर्स्ट जो एक तरह से ड्राफ्ट आप कह लो, वो बना, फिर उसकी प्रोसेसिंग हुई कि 5 प्राइम गैप, और वो मैं अभी मैसेंजर आरएनए में बताऊंगी आपको डिटेल में कि उनकी क्या स्ट्रक्चर होता है, और उससे mRNA कंप्लीट बनता है. इट इज मॉडिफाइड, HNRNA इज मॉडिफाइड in the nucleus to form mRNA which goes to cytoplasm. Now, after obtained after the transcription of DNA, and essential step in central dogma is your messenger RNA. It carries the genetic information from DNA in the nucleus to ribosomes. ठीक है? It carries the genetic information from DNA to ribosomes. It has sequence complementary to the template strand of DNA, and the sizes, they vary according to the number of nucleotides which correspond to the length of the polypeptide it codes. ठीक है? तो जितना आपको प्रोटीन, बड़ा प्रोटीन बनाना है तो ऑब्वियसली उसका मैसेंजर आरएनए बड़ा होगा, और अगर छोटा सा प्रोटीन बनाना है तो मैसेंजर आरएनए छोटा सा होगा, क्योंकि जितना आरएनए के ऊपर जो सीक्वेंसेस हैं, ठीक है, जो आरएनए के ऊपर सीक्वेंसेस हैं, उन सीक्वेंसेस के हिसाब से प्रोटीन बनता है। आरएनए के सीक्वेंसेस में अभी आप डिटेल में जब पढ़ोगे तो आपको बताएंगे कि 3 जैसे आरएनए की सीक्वेंस है AGCTP, AGCCCTA, ऐसे कुछ करके, टी तो नहीं होगा, यूरेसिल होगा, UU। तो AGU एक 3 सेट ऑफ न्यूक्लियोटाइड बेसिस जो है, ये एक कोडॉन कहलाता है। इस एक कोडॉन से एक अमाइनो एसिड बनेगा। ठीक है, तो मान लो अगर आपको, जस्ट फॉर गिविंग यू एग्जांपल टू एक्सप्लेन द थिंग, मान लीजिए आपको 10 अमाइनो एसिड्स का प्रोटीन बनाना है, तो उसका जो मैसेंजर आरएनए है उसके ऊपर 30 न्यूक्लियोटाइड्स होने चाहिए। 3 न्यूक्लियोटाइड्स का एक अमाइनो एसिड, फिर 3 का एक अमाइनो एसिड, फिर 3 का एसिड, 10 बन जाएंगे, तो 10 अमाइनो एसिड्स बन जाएंगे। ठीक है, तो इसलिए ये बोल रहे हैं कि size of the messenger RNA will vary according to the nucleotides corresponding to the length of the polypeptide it codes, and it serves as the template for protein synthesis, that is the transfer genetic information from DNA to the protein synthesizing machinery. Primary transcript is the heterogeneous nuclear RNA which after processing forms messenger RNA. इसमें आप देख सकते हो कि heterogeneous वाला जो है, रेड ब्लॉक्स जो हैं वो सारे एक्सॉन्स हैं जो कि ट्रांसलेट होंगे, और जो ब्लू बॉक्सेस हैं वो इंट्रॉन्स हैं जो कि इंटरवीन कर रहे हैं, नॉन ट्रांसलेटेड फॉर्म्स हैं। तो जब ये मैसेंजर आरएनए से प्रोसेसिंग उसकी हो रही है फाइनल मैसेंजर आरएनए बनाने के लिए, तो इंट्रॉन्स को हम निकाल करके जोड़ देते हैं इन सारे रेड्स को, और 5 प्राइम साइड पे एक 5 प्राइम कैप जुड़ती है, और A प्राइम साइड पे पॉली एडिनाइल 8 सीक्वेंसेस जोड़ देते हैं, उसको हम पॉली 8 टेल कहते हैं। ठीक है, 5 prime end is capped by 7 methyl guanosine triphosphate. Cap is involved in recognition of messenger RNA by the translation machinery. It stabilizes the messenger RNA by preventing the attack of 5 prime exonucleases. 3 prime hydroxyl terminal has polymer of A residues, which are 20 to 250 nucleotides in length. Poly A tail at the 3 prime end maintains the intracellular stability of the specific messenger RNA by preventing the attack of 3 prime exonucleases. And the messenger RNA represents the 2 to 5% of total eukaryotic cellular RNA. तो messenger RNA सिर्फ 2 to 5% है, और ये बड़ा फ्रेजाइल मॉलिक्यूल होता है। जैसे ही बना, ट्रांसलेशन करवाई, एंड देन इट डिसॉल्व्स। ठीक है, तो वो ऐसे, डीएनए तो स्टर्डी मॉलिक्यूल है, वो तो परसिस्ट करता है, लेकिन आरएनए परसिस्ट नहीं करता ज्यादा। जैसे फोरेंसिक में हम डीएनए स्टडी करते हैं कि कोई अगर किसी डेड पर्सन का या डेड मॉलिक्यूल का किसी भी को देखना है तो डीएनए देखते हैं, आरएनए क्यों नहीं देखते? क्योंकि आरएनए बहुत फ्रेजाइल है, वो जल्दी डिसॉल्व हो जाता है। नेक्स्ट इज दी ट्रांसफर आरएनए। इसके ऊपर भी शॉर्ट नोट आता है, तो ध्यान से इसको भी आप समझिएगा। द प्राइमरी स्ट्रक्चर, दैट इज अ न्यूक्लियोटाइड सीक्वेंस, जो इसके अंदर न्यूक्लियोटाइड सीक्वेंसेस जिस तरह से होती हैं इस वाले आरएनए के अंदर, तो क्या होता है कि इट इज सिंगल स्ट्रैंडेड ही है, लेकिन इसका शेप ऐसा एक्सटेंसिव फोल्डिंग इसमें हो जाती है, इंट्रा स्ट्रैंड कॉम्प्लीमेंटेरिटी आ जाती है टू जनरेट अ सेकेंडरी स्ट्रक्चर दैट अपीयर्स लाइक अ क्लोवर लीफ। ठीक है, it helps to decode the messenger RNA instructions into amino acids. It acts as a vehicle which brings the right amino acid for a set protein according to messenger RNA instructions. It varies in length from 74 to 95 nucleotides. and has at least 20 species of tRNA molecules in every cell. They are also generated by nuclear processing of precursor molecule. tRNA को हम बोलते हैं adapter molecule, adapter for translation of information in the sequence of nucleotides. अब कोडॉन्स जो हैं वो तो प्रेजेंट है मैसेंजर आरएनए पे, लेकिन और मैंने बताया कि 3 न्यूक्लियोटाइड बेसिस का एक कोडॉन बना, उससे एक अमीनो एसिड कोड होना है. वो कैसे होता है? वो टीआरएनए बताता है. टीआरएनए के पास एक एंटी कोडॉन, यू कैन सी जो ऊपर वाला लूप दिख रहा है, CAU, यू कैन सी दिस इज द एंटी कोडॉन आर्म. इसके ऊपर जो मैसेंजर आरएनए के ऊपर जो, अब जैसे इस एंटी कोडॉन का कोडॉन वहां पर क्या होगा, C का कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री G, G का कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री U और U का A, तो GUA सीक्वेंस इसका कोडॉन है जो मैसेंजर आरएनए पे होगा, जिसपे जाकर के ये बाइंड करेगा. और इस कोडॉन का वेलिन इज द अमीनो एसिड जो इसने अमीनो एसिड बाइंडिंग साइट पे अमीनो एसिड को कैरी करेगा. ठीक है, दिस इज हाउ transfer RNA helps acts as an adapter molecule because it carries the amino acid on its amino acid binding site, and then it binds to the messenger RNA with the help of its anticodon arm, and it helps in the formation of the polypeptide chain. It composes of 20% of the total cellular RNA. All the tRNA molecules contain 4 arms: acceptor arm, anticodon arm, D arm, and T arm. Acceptor arm is the one which is carrying the amino acid, ठीक है, and it is tRNA appropriate amino acid. When it is attached to it, it is called charged. Then that we call tRNA as charged because the 3' hydroxyl group of the amino acid moiety से ये acceptor arm से attached होगा. Anticodon arm reads the 3 nucleotides on messenger RNA. एक डी आर्म होती है डाइहाइड्रोयूरेसिल. दिस इज unusual base present in it. It helps in the recognition of tRNA by amino acid synthesis. अब जो अमीनो एसिड्स हैं वो इसके ऊपर ही क्यों आकर अटैच होंगे? क्योंकि इसकी डी आर्म जो है वो अमीनो एसिड स्पेसिफिक अमीनो एसिड्स को रिकॉग्नाइज करती है. एंड देन देयर इज अ टी आर्म, राइबोथाइमिडीन एंड स्यूडोयूरिडीन इसके ऊपर रहते हैं. 2 unusual bases होती हैं. वेरिएबल आर्म वेरीज इन ऑल दी molecules, and it is not always present, and its length is also variable. Then we come to अच्छा, tRNA के बारे में मैंने आपको बता दिया. Transfers one specific amino acid to ribosome for protein synthesis, and since there are 20 types of amino acids which are needed for translation, so we have 20 types of tRNA. ठीक है. Usually the cell has around 31 tRNAs due to redundancy of genetic code कि भाई एक से ज्यादा कोडॉन जो है वो एक अमीनो एसिड के लिए कोड कर सकता है ना. तो इसलिए मोर देन 20 tRNAs भी होंगे क्योंकि एक से ज्यादा कोडॉन एक अमीनो एसिड को कोड करता है. दैट इज कॉल्ड रिडंडेंसी व्हिच यू विल स्टडी लेटर. ये सारी प्रॉपर्टीज जो है कोडॉन्स की. Now we come to ribosomal RNA. Ribosomes, you know, that are the part of the cell. You know that is an organelle. Mammalian ribosome has a molecular weight of 4.2 into 10 to the power 6 and has a sedimentation velocity coefficient of 80s. तो हम ribosomal RNA को कैसे classify करते हैं? On the basis of its sedimentation velocity coefficient. S में लेते हैं उसको, ठीक है, 80s, 40s, 60s. Ribosomes are present in the cytoplasm and they are the main sites of the protein synthesis. The mammalian ribosome is a nucleoprotein with 2 major nucleoprotein subunits, a large one with sedimentation rate of 60s and smaller with 40s. ठीक है, तो each subunit has a specific RNA and polypeptide. And 60s वाला जो है, it will have 5s, 5.8s and 20s RNA, rRNA. And more than 50 specific polypeptides. 40s will have single 18s rRNA with 30 polypeptide chains. जितने भी rRNAs हैं except 5s, they are all independently transcribed. मतलब DNA to RNA, rRNA ये इनकी अपनी independent transcription होती है जो they are but the 5s rRNA is transcribed separately. ठीक है, मतलब ये they are processed from a single 45s precursor RNA molecule in the nucleolus. तो एक 45s बनता है, उसी को आगे ब्रेक करके डिफरेंट डिफरेंट 40s, 18s, 5.8s, 28s बन जाते हैं, लेकिन 5s जो है वो अलग ट्रांसक्राइब होता है. And highly methylated rRNA molecules are packaged in nucleolus with specific ribosomal proteins. This is the structure of ribosomal RNA. You can see this light green shade वाला जो एक big thing आपको दिख रहा है, that is the large subunit, and थोड़ा सा dark green में जो दिख रहा है ये olive green, that is the smaller subunit, and this light pink column cells की तरह से जो जा रहा है, that is your messenger RNA, और ये इसके nucleotides हैं, and you can see कि ये 3 codons को tRNA, ये जो ब्लू और ये दिख रहा है, दिस इज द tRNA, ठीक है, इट इज कैरिंग वन अमाइनो एसिड, इट कम्स एंड बाइंड्स टू अ कोडॉन, ब्रिंग्स अ दिस थिंग, एंड दिस सर्कल्स का जो स्मॉल स्मॉल सर्कल्स का चेंज आ रहा है, दैट इज द न्यूली बॉर्न प्रोटीन, एंड ये मूव करते जाते हैं, हर एक को रीड करते जाते हैं और एक एक प्रोटीन ऐड कर करके चलाते जाते हैं. इसका डिटेल किस तरह से करते हैं वो आपको बाद में प्रोटीन सिंथेसिस में पढ़ाया जाएगा, लेकिन दिस इज जस्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड द एग्जैक्ट फंक्शन ऑफ राइबोसोमल आरएनए, which is necessary for the ribosomal assembly, plays key role in the binding of messenger RNA to ribosomes and its translation. And large rRNA components, they perform a catalytic function also. जो large rRNA components हैं, that is the peptidyl transferase activity, and thus they are also known as enzymes, ribozyme. So during many ribosomes can associate with any messenger RNA to form an assembly called polysome. एक messenger RNA के अंदर प्रोकैरियोट्स में खासतौर पे इकट्ठे इकट्ठे बहुत सारी ट्रांसलेशंस चल सकती हैं, तो उसको हम पॉलीजोम कहते हैं. RNA molecules, they are found in complex tertiary structures and also to act as biological catalysts during translation. The rRNA molecules can function as ribozymes. Ribozymes are different enzymes comprised of RNA molecules rather than the proteins. And like an enzyme, it has an active site and a binding site for substrate cofactors. So the RNA, when acts as biocatalysts like peptidyl transferase, they are called as ribozymes. Another RNA molecule which is there are the small RNA molecules. These are a number of discrete, highly conserved small RNA species which are found in eukaryotic cells, and they are complex with proteins to form ribonucleoproteins. They are distributed in nucleus as well as in cytoplasm, and they range in size from 20 to 300 nucleotides and represent 5% of cellular RNA. So small, एक है आपका small nuclear RNA. Class of small RNAs is snRNA, which is approximately 150 nucleotide in length, has catalytic activity. It is involved in ribosomal RNA and messenger RNA processing and gene regulation. And of the cellular, so snRNAs हैं, like U1, U2, U4, U5, U6 we call them. They are involved in intron removal. वो मैंने आपको बताया था ना, जो intervening sequences and non-translated portions, introns, उनको remove करने में ये वाले RNAs help करते हैं. And they call help in the processing of messenger RNA into precursors into messenger RNA. Then U7 snRNA is involved in the production of correct 3' ends of histone messenger RNA which lacks poly A tail. And there is one 7sk RNA which associates with several proteins to form ribonucleoprotein complex called as PTEFB that modulates messenger RNA gene transcription elongation by RNA polymerase II. मेनली इसमें आपको यही समझना है कि U1, U2, U4, U6 तो इंट्रॉन्स को रिमूवल में हेल्प करते हैं, और U7 जो है वो पॉली ए टेल का प्रोडक्शन में हेल्प करता है. Another type of small RNAs are the microRNAs. This is the class of non-coding RNAs that play important role in gene expression, regulating the gene expression. They are transcribed from DNA sequence to primary microRNAs, which are processed. Just a second. Just a second. So these are they are transcribed from DNA sequences to primary microRNAs. Then they are processed to precursor microRNAs, and finally they form mature microRNAs. microRNAs जो होते हैं वो बहुत छोटे से molecules हैं, 21 to 25 nucleotides in length. ठीक है? And they are generated by nucleolytic processing of the products of distributing genes transcription units. They are single-stranded molecules. They typically hybridize via formation of imperfect RNA-RNA duplexes. इसमें अंडरस्टैंड करने की कोशिश करेंगे कि माइक्रो आरएनए इज एन आरएनए, ठीक है? ये क्या करता है, हाइब्रिडाइज कर जाता है और आरएनए मॉलिक्यूल्स के साथ, एंड इट फॉर्म्स इम्परफेक्ट आरएनए, मतलब कॉम्प्लीमेंटारिटी ज्यादा नहीं होती, लेकिन इट बाइंड्स and forms imperfect RNA-RNA duplexes with the 3' untranslated regions of specific RNA messenger RNAs to introduce its degradation and translational repression. तो माइक्रो आरएनए का काम होता है ट्रांसलेशन यानी कि प्रोटीन सिंथेसिस को रिड्यूस करना, तो वो आरएनएस को डिस्ट्रॉय कर देता है बाय बाइंडिंग विद द आरएनएस एंड फॉर्मिंग द इम्परफेक्ट RNA-RNA duplexes. The class of non-coding RNAs that play important roles in regulating gene expression, ये तो हम कर चुके हैं. एक सेकेंड. So biogenesis of microRNAs is executed by cooperation of multiple biochemical reactions, including processing of microRNA precursors by 2 endoribonucleases. इसमें मैं आपको समझा रही हूँ, जरा सा ये देख लीजिए. This is a cytoplasm, this is a nucleus. You can see this is a microRNA का gene. This must be DNA. इससे microRNA बना. So this is primary microRNA. ठीक है? You can see that it is a hairpin loop structure. ठीक है? एक एंजाइम है ड्रोशा which cuts the RNA in the nucleus and forms pre-micro RNA. ठीक है? And this pre-micro RNA comes into the cytoplasm. Here another endoribonuclease, another enzyme is the dicer which cuts this double-stranded, ये double-stranded है ना hairpin loop, तो इस double-stranded के hairpin side पे कट करके it forms the micro RNA duplexes. ठीक है? अब इसको ये प्रोसेस होते होते आगे मैच्योर माइक्रो आरएनए बनता है, which goes and binds to the messenger RNA जिसका ट्रांसलेशन इसने इनहिबिट करना है, और it forms a RISC risk बोलते हैं इसको, that is RNA induced silencing complex and causes RNA degradation and translation repression. So you can see that micro RNA is formed as primary micro RNA. Drosha in the nucleus, it cuts it, forms pre-microRNA. Dicer in the cytoplasm cuts it and forms mature microRNA, which forms RNA silencing induced silencing complex and forms degrades the messenger RNA. Another form is the siRNAs. Like they are derived by the specific nucleolytic cleavage of large double-stranded RNAs to again form 21 to 25 nucleotide long products. They form perfect RNA-RNA hybrids. वो imperfect बना रहा था, ये perfect RNA-RNA hybrids बना रहे हैं. And again they are degraded, जो messenger RNA से bind करते हैं ये जा करके, and they degrade the messenger RNA and inhibit its translation. Both microRNA and siRNA represent exciting new potential targets for therapeutic drug development. Functions of RNA is protein synthesis. They act as the genetic material in certain viruses. They are called retroviruses. Then they are also having a catalytic activity, and snRNAs which are involved in RNA splicing. So apart from translation, protein synthesis के अलावा RNA की splicing में भी ये help कर रहे हैं. So now we go to see the differences between DNA and RNA. Single-stranded structure with uracil, double-stranded structure with thymine. ठीक है, double-stranded, single-stranded, deoxyribose, ribose, read by polymerases, can self-replicate, can last for a long time, 3' to 5'. This is formed in 5' to 3'. They can read multiple structures read by ribosomes. इसमें यूरेसिल है, इसमें थायमिन है. कॉमन इसमें ये है कि राइबोस फॉस्फेट बैकबोन है और एच सी और जी है. ठीक है, अब मेन बात आती है कि यूरेसिल क्यों है आरएनए में, डीएनए में क्यों नहीं है. अब यूरेसिल क्या होता है? यूरेसिल इज बेसिकली during evolution this stability has been taken that DNA will not have uracil because cytosine can deaminate spontaneously to form uracil. You know uracil का cytosine, uracil और thymine का structure याद है? वो मैं अभी बताती हूँ आपको पीछे स्लाइड में ले जाकर के. एक साइटोसिन अगर उसके ऑक्सीजन होता है कार्बन पे, तो अगर उस पे हम नहीं नाइट्रोजन होता है, तो उसको अगर हम डीएमिनेट कर दे तो यूरेसिल बन जाएगा. ठीक है, और ये स्पॉन्टेनियसली होता रहता है डीएनए में, और इसको हम रिपेयर करते रहते हैं. अगर साइटोसिन डीएमिनेट होकर के यूरेसिल बना दे, तो नॉर्मल जो साइटोसिन के साथ ग्वानिन की पेयरिंग है, दैट विल बिकम यू एंड जी की पेयरिंग विद म्यूटाजेनिक यू. ये म्यूटेट हुआ ना, सी से यू बना है. we will not be able to differentiate कि normal U है कि normal मतलब U normal UA है या mispaired UG है. अगर U भी DNA में होता तो हमें कैसे पता चलता कि ये यूरेसिल साइटोसिन से बना म्यूटेटेड यूरेसिल है कि ओरिजिनल वाला U है. ठीक है, so this is why we cannot have uracil in place of DNA, in DNA in place of थायमिन इज ओनली देयर, सो दैट अगर साइटोसिन की म्यूटेशन होती है और डीएमिनेट होकर यूरेसिल बनता है, तो हमें पता चल जाता है कि एक्सटर्नल मॉलिक्यूल है, ये इज नॉट द पार्ट ऑफ डीएनए. So there are some specific nucleases also which help to digest the nucleic acids, and they exhibit specificity for DNA, deoxyribonucleases या फिर ribonucleases. Some will degrade both DNA and RNA. They can be endonucleases और exonucleases. Endonucleases वो हैं जो कि hydrolyze both strands of double stranded molecule और single strand of nucleic acid अंदर. ठीक है, like restriction endonucleases भी होते हैं. और exonucleases होते हैं, they act on one side, either 3' side or 5' side. So this is all for today, and tomorrow I will be taking up DNA organization, and if you want any questions, we can take it today or tomorrow as this is not one U1 comma U2, मतलब U1 is one snRNA, U2 is another snRNA. Endonucleases are these are the enzymes which hybridize both the strands of double or single stranded molecule. मतलब internal phosphodiester bond. जो internal जो external exonuclease will cleave either the 5' end or the 3' end. Endonuclease will cleave the internal phosphodiester bond. Major and minor groups, they will form because their structure has to be that the structure is double, it has a helical structure. जब किसी चीज को आप फोल्ड करोगे तो ऑब्वियसली उसके ग्रूव्स बनेंगे। अब वो कितना फोल्डिंग कितनी बड़ी और कितनी छोटी है उसके अकॉर्डिंग मेजर और माइनर ग्रूव्स का साइज होता है। मेजर और माइनर ग्रूव्स तो बनेंगे ही। Change to uracil means why DNA and has the thymine and because you see अगर साइटोसिन यूरेसिल बनेगा कैसे? यूरेसिल बनता है अगर साइटोसिन डीअमीनेट हो जाए। अगर साइटोसिन डीअमीनेट हो जाए तो यूरेसिल बन जाता है। ठीक है। In this structure you can see this is अमीनो ग्रुप अगर साइटोसिन का चला जाए तो यूरेसिल बन जाएगा। अब एक डीएनए के अंदर मतलब एस सी जो है वो जी के साथ बाइंड किया हुआ है, और अगर यू रहे, अगर डीएनए में यू होता तो एक यू ए के साथ बाइंड किया होगा। अगर एक साइटोसिन डीएमिनेट होकर यूरेसिल बन गया तो यू सी की जगह पे यू आ गया ना, तो उसकी बाइंडिंग म्यूटेटेड यूरेसिल विल बी बाउंड टू जी। अब मुझे कैसे पता चलेगा कि यू म्यूटेटेड है कि जी म्यूटेटेड है? ठीक है। और ओरिजिनली तो ए और यू की बाइंडिंग है, तो ये एक्सटर्नल मॉलिक्यूल है, म्यूटेटेड मॉलिक्यूल है, इसलिए हम थाइमीन रखते हैं डीएनए में, ताकि जब भी डीएमिनेशन से कुछ बने तो हमें पता चल जाए यूरेसिल जो है वो म्यूटेटेड मॉलिक्यूल है, वो ओरिजिनली डीएनए का पार्ट नहीं है। तो ठीक है, देन टुडे आई थिंक आई विल एंड द क्लास टुडे। I'll end the class here, and tomorrow again at 2 o'clock we will start with the organization of DNA. Okay, then I'm switching off.